Hi, I'm doing a little video commentary of some verses from a text called Faith in Mind, which is a Zen text, and it's one of my favorites. This is called Faith in Mind, and the version I have is by Chan Master Sheng Yen, and I really recommend it. And so I'm gonna just read some verses from it and give little bits of commentary on it, and I hope you'll find that to be helpful. So, the first verse I'm going to go over is a dream, an illusion, a flower in the sky. How could they be worth grasping? A dream, an illusion, a flower in the sky. How could they be worth grasping? So, flowers in the sky is a common metaphor that's used in Buddhism, and it really just means things that aren't real or things that aren't as important as we think they are. So, that's why that term, a flower in the sky, is used. I think it sounds really psychedelic and cool, but it's really just the notion that there are things that we think are important that aren't important, and there are things that we think are real that aren't real too. The truth of the matter is, nothing is real and permanent. We tend to want things to stay around forever and really wish hard for that sometimes, but the truth is nothing ever does. There's this concept in Buddhism called emptiness, and it's a concept people really kind of wrestle with. It's kind of hard to understand, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing so much as there's nothing for us to hold on to. Everything's impermanent, and if we come to understand that, then maybe we won't be so attached to things all the time, or even so attached to things like our health. That is, we're all getting older, and some people really rail against that and try really hard not to get older, but they're going to, because everything's impermanent, including you. The next verse is, gain and loss, right and wrong, discard them all at once. So this is just saying, don't attach to labels. Thinking in these terms of, those people are different from me because they don't see things the same way, or I'm jealous of that person because they have this and I don't have it. These are the kind of terms that often don't serve us very well. The next verse is, if the eyes do not close in sleep, all dreams will cease of themselves. The eyes I'll read it again. If the eyes do not close in sleep, all dreams will cease of themselves. So the eyes in this is our awareness. When we lose our awareness, when we aren't here in the moment, then we're dreaming. Dreaming is just being carried away by our wandering thoughts, as we often are. One of my teachers called that discursive thinking. I think people don't know what discursive means, so that's not very helpful. But it's just our wandering thoughts that take us away from what we're doing. It's when we're driving our car and we are suddenly at our destination, we don't really remember the trip. That is what we're talking about. That is the daydream. And the idea that our eyes aren't closing just means that we're very diligent in our practice. We're very diligent in trying to be here. We're striving to keep our minds open so that we can awaken from the daydream, so we can be where we are instead of being somewhere else all the time. The next verse is, if the mind does not discriminate, all things are of one suchness. The essence of one suchness is profound. Unmoving, conditioned things are forgotten. If the mind does not discriminate, all things are of one suchness. The essence of one suchness is profound. Unmoving, conditioned things are forgotten. So this is just, if we can stop discriminating all the time, if we can stop trying to put things in nice, neat little categories, then we can really see everything the way it really is. There's no difference between you and I, between inside and outside, between me and my neighbor. It's all unified as a whole. And we can really, if we're really diligent, we can leave behind this sense of small self and dwell in our true nature at least a little bit more, and at least suffer a little bit less in our lives. The next verse is, contemplate all things as equal, and you return to things as they are. This just refers to non-discrimination. When we stop labeling, like I said, and judging things all the time, then we can start to see things as they really are, instead of putting our baggage on everything. And the next verse is, When the subject disappears, there can be no measuring or comparing. So if we can let go of these judgments and preconceptions that we're carrying all the time, then we can experience a state beyond the self. And this is what we call enlightenment. So I hope this little video has been helpful. That's just a few verses from Faith in Mind. I'll be delivering more later. Thank you for tuning in.